Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. Welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you've been with me before. Today I am going to show you how to make a 6x7 mini album using the Vintage Valentine paper. So let's get started. Alright, we're going to make a mini album. So as part of my paper stash smash, I said I want to smash this Vintage Valentine. Now I picked this up from Hobby Lobby, and I bet you thought I was done with Valentine's Day, but nope, I want to use this whole pad up before Valentine's Day. So I'm going to take this, and I also have assorted colors of cardstock, and I also have cream color cardstock. This obviously is Recollections brand, 65-pound weight, again in the cream color. And I have some heavyweight chipboard as well. Now this Vintage Valentine's does not have any ephemera or any cut aparts, so I'm going to go to my favorite digital shop right now, Bumfuzzle Boutique, and let's take a look and see what she has there. So I've already used these gnomes, which of course are adorable, and you've seen some of the projects with them. But I also saw she has this, and she just came out with this. So I'm going to use this to add to my Vintage Valentine's mini album. I thought the colors looked great, and I liked all of the different sentiments on here, so I think that will be fabulous. So let's get started. We're going to first make the mini album, and it's going to go real quick, and then we're going to decorate it, and that'll go just as quick. So let's get started. All right, so I'm taking 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I'm putting a piece of 1/4-inch score tape on the long side and burnishing that real well. I'll peel off the backing, and then trying to use the grid on my surface, match up the bottoms so it is as straight as I can get it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I have 2 pieces of chipboard that are 6 by 7, 1 piece that's 1.5 by 7. I've already put some double-sided permanent adhesive on the back, and now I'm taking that smaller piece, the spine, and putting it in the center of my cardstock. I'll put 1/4-inch score tape on both sides of that, and then I'll peel off the backing on the adhesive and peel off the backing on the larger pieces of chipboard. I'll put that on, that double-sided adhesive, on either side of the spine, sort of overlapping that. It's maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit smaller. It's not 1/4 of an inch, I can tell you that. I want to make sure that the page, the covers will bend without touching each other, and we don't want to crack the paper. So I cut off corners. I'm staying 1/8 of an inch away from the chipboard edge, and then I'm taking my bone folder and finding the edge of the chipboard and just burnishing a little to make it easier to fold. As soon as I'm done burnishing, I'm going to turn this the other way, right side up or upside down, whatever you want to say, and then I will glue it down. So I start at the top, sorry, a little out of camera range, but you get the idea. I'm putting glue right next to the chipboard, and then around the perimeter of the cardstock, and then zigzagging it. You don't need a heck of a lot of glue. You just need enough to hold it. I mean, the chipboard's not going to go anywhere. You're going to cover it with paper. And then I burnish it real well with the bone folder. So I do the long sides first, and then I'll go ahead and do the short sides, but I'll get the second long side done. And again, I just use that bone folder and just push it down and burnish it. If I get any glue on the bone folder, I'm wiping it off. All right, now I push in those little corners, add glue to the perimeter. That's a trapezoid. I know that from watching hockey. And then burnish. And one more time, push in those corners, add glue on that trapezoid, add some more glue, use the bone folder to burnish, push it down, and burnish real well. Yeah, see, you see me wiping it off a little bit. Now I take my bone folder and go around the edge. I don't really think it does anything, but I feel good doing it. All right, so I'm taking the bone folder and going in those areas on front and back between the pieces of chipboard. Okay, here is the measurements and where I'm going to score for the hinge. So first of all, the cardstock I cut to 6.5 inches. It's 11 by 6.5. I'm going to score it at 2, 2.5, 3, 3 3/8, 3 7/8, 4 3/8, 4 3/4, 5 1/4, 5 3/4, 6 1/8, 6 5/8, and 7 1/8. There are 4 sets of 2 half-inch hinges, and there are 3/8 of an inch gusset in between. Okay, so now I'm taking my scored piece and turning it upside down so the bumpy side is facing up. And there are 4 2.5-inch score lines. You're going to fold in the center of those 2 half-inch ones. So you'll find 4 of them, 4 sets of half-inch, just fold in the center of all 4 of them and burnish. We'll do that to train the paper to fold the way we want it to. Then now the bumpy side is facing down, and I'm just going to simply take that mountain and squeeze it between my fingers, move it back and forth. I might burnish it with my fingers a little bit, but just to train the paper first to fold, and then it will make those hinges automatically, and then I'll take my bone folder and burnish just to, again, train the paper to go the way I want. Then I'll move the hinges away from me and burnish it again. I don't have any glue, but that's coming up next. So now I will take the paper, turn it upside down. Our hinges are facing down. And starting at the top, the one furthest away from me, I just zigzag glue. And then I do a little line of glue real close to the top. So just zigzag and then a little line of glue. Pretty easy. I just zigzag. Again, I'm not using too much glue because I want it to hold the hinges, but I don't want it to seep out. And you may notice I'm staying about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge because, like I said, I just don't want it to seep out. I put a surface down and then burnish with my fingers those hinges just to get the glue to distribute. Then I'll take my bone folder. You saw some of the glue came out. So I take my bone folder and go all the way to the edge and then burnish. I'm speeding it up a little bit because it gets a little monotonous, but you see how nicely it is on the bottom? So I'm eyeballing where it's going to fit on the spine, and then I take my glue and put it on the crevice or the center of the hinge and zigzag it. I'm using a little bit more here now than I was before, and just sort of laying it on top of the hinge, making sure it's even top and bottom and side to side. And then I take my fingers, starting in the center, and burnish the glue to distribute it. And then you see I'm moving the hinges back and forth just so they stay close together. Then I will burnish it with the bone folder one way and then move it the other way. And I'm spending a little bit of time to burnish it, and then I'm going right next to each one of those hinges to make sure the glue is distributed. Now we didn't add any glue to this part, which is called the wing, so I'm putting it on our cover and burnishing it. You may have noticed I didn't put any in that crevice on that double-sided tape, but I did put some in the crevice on the cardstock. I'll point it out again when we do the other side. And I work it real good in that crevice and then burnish it some more. So here I'll lift up this side and I'm putting it right next to the chipboard and around the wing, and then just distribute it with the bone folder, burnish in that gusset, move the book, fold it just so it can get in there. What it's doing is some of that cardstock that doesn't have glue on it is meeting up with that double-sided adhesive we put next to the spine. And there we go. Now I'm going to leave it flat and let it dry while I work on the base pages. So the base pages, you will need 4 pieces that are 8.5 by 11. You're going to score them at 2, and then you're going to rotate and score at 5.5. So with the 8.5 side at the top, simply score at 2. These are really simple pages. And then with the 11-inch side at the top, score at 1/2 inch. So we'll do that to all 4 of the pieces. The 65-pound weight paper is pretty light. You don't want to really push down on this cardstock. There are other brands that you might work with, and you can use a little heavier weight, but I wouldn't use anything heavier than 90 pound. Even 90 pounds pretty heavy. So now I'm going to just burnish all 4 of these pieces. I'll fold up that 2-inch piece, fold it in half, make sure the corners all line up, and then burnish it real well. So I guess you can see, so we're going to have pocket pages. We not only will have the 2-inch pocket on the bottom, but the top will be a pocket. You'll see as we go further along. So I'll fold all that, burnish it, making sure my corners meet. And then I'll grab the book. I'm going to work it a little bit now because the glue has dried. Fold the cover back and forth a little bit. Okay, so I am taking the first piece and I'm putting glue down on the back of the hinge right about in the center. And then I'm going to push it down. My page is about 1/8 of an inch away from the hinge. Then I put some closer to the right-hand side of the hinge and along the bottom. And then I use my bone folder and burnish. Now you want to make sure this piece is in real straight, because the other pieces need to match up with that piece. So again, I'll put glue down in the center of that hinge. I first put the page right next to the hinge and then I back it off a little, move it to the right, so it's about 1/8 of an inch away from the hinge. Then I fold it down and burnish it, and then put glue on the other side and on the bottom. This piece didn't match up, so I had to peel it off and put it back down, making sure the corners matched up. So here again, put glue down the center of the hinge, put the page underneath and fold it over, burnish it, put glue down on the side and along the bottom, and burnish it again. And one more piece, and then that's it for getting the pages in. It's pretty simple. It's simple. It's a simple mini album. So I'll go ahead and burnish it, add my glue, and there we go. There are the pages. By the way, I am using Designer Dries Clear Glue from the Art Glitter Company. I put it in these smaller Gina K bottles because I get the bottles all dirty and I make a mess. And it comes out a little bit faster. There are times I don't need as much glue, but when I'm doing this, I want it to come out and go fast. So see where I'm putting the bone folder? That is the top loading pockets for our page. So we are all set with this. Now we're going to start decorating it. Wasn't that fast? All right, so first I'm going to cover the covers with cardstock. So I've cut 4 pieces that are 5 7/8 by 6 7/8. Now these are just plain cardstock that I have in my stash. I would guess this was 65-pound weight, although this one feels a little bit less. And I'm just covering the front and back covers. To be honest, I'm not paying too much attention to the colors because all these colors coordinate. And on top of this, we're going to layer maybe more cardstock, maybe the pattern paper. But there should be a good 1/8 inch around the front and back, or 1/8 inch around the top and the sides. That's what I'm trying to say. So one of the things is when you're using a 6 by 6 pad, I mean, I like to make sure that people can print out 4 by 6 photos. Of course, it's not always possible to do that. But I do try to make the books big enough that you could take a 4x6 photo and maybe cut it down to 5x4 and still be able to use it for a book. So there, that'll go on the back. And I will, at some point, whoops, that moved, cover the outside spine. But right now I just wanted to get the front and back inside and outside covers done. Now I also took for the front cover one more piece of cardstock and cut it just 1/8 of an inch smaller, so it's 5 3/4 by 6 3/4. That's going to go right on top of here. And then, of course, since my paper is 6x6, there's no way I could fill this with one piece of paper, so I cut 2 smaller pieces that are 6 by 3.5 and 6 by 3. Is that right? No, it can't be 6. It's got to be smaller. Let me see what I did. Did it last night and didn't write down the measurements. 5.5. So I took some of the pattern paper that didn't have really big patterns on it because we're going to add other things to the cover. And I'll put whatever is quote unquote the heaviest paper at the bottom. So this one has a bigger pattern, so this will go at the bottom. I need to cover this. So this one is 3 inches by 5.5. And so that's one of the tricks. If you have 6x6 paper and you're trying to make an album that's slightly bigger than a 6x6 album, is to cut the paper and sort of stack it. So I can do that for the inside, or I can add more pockets. Truthfully, I have enough pockets with the pockets on the pages. So what I'll do is stack it or add something to the center. So take a piece, cut it in the center, and add a piece of ribbon or something like that. So that's another one of the tricks. But I'm going to leave that for now and show you what I've done for the inside pages. So I've cut, there are 4 signatures, so 8 pages front and back. So I've cut 8 pieces that are 5 3/8 by 6. So I just cut off 5/8 of an inch from the side. And then these can go on the pages. Now obviously we have pockets here, and this pocket is still not glued down. I'm going to wait a little bit before I do that. But we're going to put that 5 3/8 in on all the pages. So before I put it in, I'm going to go through the book and just sort of lay it down and see if I like how the papers coordinate with each other. I mean, I'm not nuts about that. I might change that. This and this. Yeah, not nuts about that too much either. I do want this to go in the back. So let's see. So this one I cut the 5 3/8 down, and that's fine. But what I could have done is cut off maybe like 3/16 off of both sides, so there still would be some pattern. But if I put this in the center, it will be okay. So we've got that going around the outside. I think this one coordinates with that fairly well. We've got this and that. That's okay because we've got the pink. I mean, usually when you get a pad, you're going to get pages that coordinate a lot. This I'm not too nuts about. Does this one look better? Yeah, this does, just because there's some of the white in here, which matches with the white there. So we'll do that, and then this one will go here. And then I'll pay attention to what's in here. Now I'm going to glue this down later. I'm not going to do that in camera. But let's talk about the pockets. So the pockets are just 2 inches. And in the paper pad was some paper. There were 2 different colors that had these stripes on it. And you know, you may not know, but I like the stripes for the pockets. But if I take 2 pieces, I would actually need 4 pieces to get a 2-inch piece, but that's okay because there's also this paper that had ribbon on it, sort of like a border strip. And I just figured I can take this, maybe even take a small piece, and put that on the pocket. And then we're going to put other embellishments on the pocket, so that would work for that. So I'm just going to stick it in the pocket and go through. I'll do this color to coordinate, and then I have 2 of the same here, and I sort of like how that looks. Now I could cut this smaller if I wanted to, and I may do that. But for now, I'll just put it in the pocket, and then that's how I'm going to glue it. Do I want this? Nope. Probably want to go like that, or I could do different colors. This and this is the same. This just was at the bottom, but I'm all right with doing different ones for the pockets. I think I'll go like that. Again, we're going to have other embellishments layered on top of this. We'll go like that. We'll do these. I'll probably cut this one down. And then here, I will do that. And that helps coordinate everything. So I'll go ahead and glue all that down. And then when I'm done, I'm just going to take a bead of glue and put it on the side and glue the pocket down. Okay, so again, instead of making a pocket, which we could do, I'm going to take a piece of paper. And you could use any color. I decided to use this base color because it's going to match. I cut it down 5 5/8 by 6 5/8. And incidentally, you could use flaps if you wanted to. I am not putting any flaps in this because I've got the pockets. And so I just didn't feel like I needed extra room for embellishments. Okay, now I have, this is square. It's 6 by 6, just straight out of the paper pad. I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/2 by 6. So the width will be 5 1/2 to make sure that my orientation is correct. And since this really only goes to 5 inches, I have to measure it. So there we go. And now I've been saving these little scraps, and I'll show you why. So now we have 5 1/2 by 6. I'm going to cut 4 inches off of this. And it's the rule of thirds. So I have 2 inches and 4 inches. So that's 1/3 and 2/3. And I'm going to put this in the center. So again, another way of stretching your 6 by 6 paper if you want to make an album that is not exactly square. I'll put that in, and then I'll glue the bottom portion. And in the front, you saw I used 2 different papers. Here I'm using the same paper. And then what am I going to do for the center? Well, one of the offcuts was this piece with the roses. It came off of the side. So you remember in this page, I said I was okay with having a lot of this cut off. I went back and cut a new piece and made it so it was a little more. Do I have the old piece? Oh, was that the piece I was going to use? See how it, oh, I did it like this. So instead of cutting all of the roses off of one side, I just cut some off of here and some off of there, and that's what that is. And this was one of the pieces that came off of it. I'm going to cut this down to 5.5. And then we've got that white border piece. And I can just put this right here, center it on there. And then once I put an embellishment, it's going to look like a very cohesive page. So I'll do the same thing for this page. I've taken this and cut it down and then cut off 2 inches and 4 inches. And this was the same size. I forgot what the measurements were. 5 5/8 by 6 5/8. So I'll go ahead and glue this down. Just getting it centered on there, top, bottom, side to side. And then this piece. So this was 5.5 by 6 to start. And then I cut it down 2 inches. So we have a 2-inch piece and a 4-inch piece. Cut that on there straight. And then I'll put something here. I think what I might do is, since we've got that piece there, I'm going to put this here. So I'll cut that down. I'm going to just measure it first. And there we go. And I'll do the same for the back. All right, I'm going to grab a piece for the outside spine, and then we'll grab our embellishments. Did I glue everything down? I did. So yeah, I just took a bead of glue and put it down alongside here on the side just to keep it so it's a pocket. All right, let me grab the embellishments, and we're almost done. Okay, so to decorate the book, now you've all seen the paper pad. There were absolutely no cut aparts or any embellishments. Now I could make them, but that takes me a long time. So I went to my favorite digital shop on Etsy, Bumfuzzle Boutique, and she just put out some new Valentine's Day sayings and whatnot. So I've cut this out. I did an offset and backed it with some blush colored cardstock. It's pretty big. It's about 4.5 by 4 3/4. So I thought this would be perfect for the cover. The colors are just fabulous. I want to add this, but this is so white compared to that. So I'm going to take some, I keep my little distress inks on the back, some antique linen, and tone this down a little. I need something to ink on. And just a little bit of this is going to show. I sort of start from the center because I know it usually goes on heavier in the center. I just want it a little more beige as opposed to a stark white. Okay, that's all I need to do. So I'm going to glue, oh, before I glue this down, so I have this piece I'm going to use as a border. I just felt like it needed it. This is not quite big enough. It's off by about 1/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to cut it in half and glue it. I'll put it on top of that last one. Just glue it onto up to the edge. You'll never know that it wasn't a full piece. All right, so this will go somewhere there. Yep. All right, I'll just glue that down to the top. There we go with that. And then this I will center on the page. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And then I do want something on the bottom, and I think I'm going to take this and put it on the bottom, but I also want to look at my flowers and see what I have. I don't like to have usually two sentiments. I mean, in Valentine's, and I guess I adore you technically is a sentiment. Valentine is sort of a greeting, but I'm going to look at my flowers before I put this on, but that is an option. All right, so now I'm going to go through and decide what goes where. So I think I like that. I'm going to glue this on here, and then I'm going to put this on top so it won't say kiss me in two places. It'll only say kiss me over here. But I'm going to pop this up just to give it a little added dimension, a little added oomph. Just cover that part. And then I'll glue the circle just down at the side. So you still could have a photo here. And then this one that says kiss me will go down over to this side. All right, let's see what else we got. So I like both of these, and again, there's that white there, but you know, it's a little too bland white, so I am going to just tone it down just ever so slightly. You probably wouldn't notice, but I do. All right. Hugs and kisses. I think what I'm going to do is just add hugs and kisses over here to the side. So it's on the page, and then this I'm going to keep in the pocket. All right, over here we have fun stuff. We have Cupid's Chocolate Shop and Cupid's Bakery. Do I want to go this way? Yeah, we'll do it that way. So I'm just going to put this over here on the right hand side. And that'll go in the pocket. We're adding more to the pockets too. All right, hugs and kisses. And XO. I think that's what I'm going to do. I want to do it this way. Nope, this is going to go here in the center. Center and towards the bottom of this pocket. And I'm just going to put XOXO over here on the side. Or actually, before that glue dries, actually what I'm going to do is, all you need is love. I changed my mind, but it didn't go dry, so we're good. All you need is love. And this is going to go over here, hugs and kisses, but I'm going to cover that up with love on some dimensions. Some dimensional foam adhesive. There we go. All you need is love, and then there's love right there. Okay, now over here. Now we're going to put Love Story here. I just like the coloring of this a little better. Yep. And I like putting it over to the left side. I just think it adds some interest. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I'm going to look for something there first. In the meantime, let's look at some photo mats. So I don't know if you remember, but these were top-loading pocket pages. And so I made photo mats. I used the cream color cardstock and cut it down to 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then cut this to 4 1/8 by 6 1/8 from the paper that was left over. I'm pretty sure I used that. So that can go in there, and I rounded the corners of everything. So I'll just put these in. And for the pages, so here's the thing. You could use just plain photo mats and make a second or a third book, or you can use the paper and use that for the photo mats. So that is pretty much what I did. I took the paper and used it for the photo mats, because why not? I want to go like that. And you see I'm putting it on the opposite page just to add some interest, but yet it'll all tie in together. So there's that. Again, when you take a paper where everything coordinates, you can play around with it. There's that. You know what I think I'm going to do here? I actually might just do that. And then over on the first, whoops, it's this page. So that'll go like that. I may cut a photo mat for that. I actually have this one. I'll probably cut a different one for that. I can use this one over here and add something onto there. So let me finish the cover and then we'll do a final walkthrough. So here is one option. I had some flowers in my stash and put it on. Or there is this. I don't think that's balanced enough. That's not weighted enough. So I guess we'll go with the flowers. All right, let's do a final walkthrough. So yes, I went with the flowers. So this was a little more orangey. I toned it down using a little bit of, what color was it? A Victorian Velvet Distress ink. Just to, like I said, just to tone it down. I layered some leaves below it. There's a little nest of some silvery gold, almost a rose gold ribbon, just to add a different texture to it. There are a couple of, I don't know if you can see them, little gems that I placed throughout here, just again adding some more texture. The back spine looks like that. I just put a heart. Oh, so I don't think you've seen this. So we've got the polka dot paper, this paper with the wording on it, and then just a little strip, and then I had a heart in my stash. I just stuck it on there. So that is the front cover and the spine. All right, you've seen this. This is popped up, so you can put a photo mat down here. We've got this photo mat there, and there is the back of it. So that would be great to put photos and or journaling there. Of course, it says Kiss Me, and the Kiss Me is hidden under there as well. And then you've got a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 hidden photo mat. Not totally hidden. It's peeking up through the top. Now, if you wanted to, you could add a little bit of ribbon to add some more texture. A tab on it. You could dress it up if you wanted to. So we've got this photo mat here, and this one, plus this on this page. Just like that, Be My Valentine peeking out. I think it looks cute. And then here is our photo mat up there. All right, here's the Cupid's Chocolate Shop, so that can be journaling. And there is a small photo mat. So besides putting photos on these, you can just stick photos in the pockets. We've got Cupid's Bakery and this photo mat here. This hidden photo mat at the top. This paper with the roses. All you need is love, and then there's some love there. Here's our hidden photo mat. This was this paper. I just kept it like that, although you could switch that and put that there if you wanted to. So I don't like that. I like that better. So I took another cut apart, glued it at the top, and it is just a little tuck spot, so you can tuck in photo mats there. And then the back, another heart, sentiment that says you are loved. Of course, we've got the two papers and the little strip, and that is it. So that is a quick little mini album. I've shown you a lot of different techniques on how you can use a 6x6 paper to make a mini album that is not square. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous day.